For those of you here and ready, I'm going to talk for just a few moments to inform you about the format of the coming 75 minutes and give you some context. For some of you, we've worked together before, but for some of you, I'm new to you. So my name is Lisa Dumas. I'm a therapeutic yoga educator, and the reason that I am so passionate about offering specific therapeutic skills to soothe people's anxiousness and worried minds and bodies is because it was the paths of yoga that helped me to recover from my own challenge with disordered anxiety and disordered panic. And when I offer these live workshops, when I offer my Worrier to Warrior experiences, it's typically people who have been told or feel that they have anxiety. And there's something that I like to say before I give any other information, because I wish somebody would have told me this back in the day. If you are somebody who feels like you have anxiety, you experience anxiety, you've been told you have anxiety, or if you call yourself an over-worrier, or if you feel like the worried mind is affecting your experience of life, I just really want you to hear that you are so much more than anxiety. You are so much more than anxiety. You are so much more than your worries. And in the days that we are in here, the anxiety that we might be feeling, situational anxiety and situational worry, it's appropriate. We can have a little bit more compassion for ourselves. And later on in this program, I'm going to be talking to you about how we can think about and manage the mind and the meaning and the guidance in our emotions. But it's just important to remember that anxiety, like any other state, is not a life sentence, and we don't have to identify with it. We don't have to box ourselves into the definition of somebody who is anxious. It is a state just like every other emotion, and it's acting as a messenger. And maybe the messenger is that something needs to change, whether that be the specific lens that we see ourselves through and we see our lives through. Maybe it's something about our lifestyle. Maybe it's something about our sleep. And there's a lot of reasons. Maybe it's something about the vitamins and minerals that we're taking in. There's a lot of reasons that we can have this experience in our nervous system. But it can be really helpful just to soften ourselves away from all of the shoulds that we carry, that we should feel more confident, we should feel more calm. However, if we do feel like we're in that acute sense of anxiousness and worry that is really affecting our day-to-day life, then the practices and the skills that I'm sharing over the next 75 minutes might be helpful for you. Now, here's the context that I'll be sharing them in. I'm teaching them through the lens of the yogic map of a human being. So picture an onion. And yoga views the human being as this multi-layered, multi-dimensional entity that starts with the outer layer, which is our physical body. And when we're experiencing states of anxiousness and worry, our physical body has symptoms because our fight, flight, or freeze response in the nervous system is triggered. So we can feel tension in our physical body. It can be hard to stay still. It might be hard to stay still right now, and that's okay. If you need to move, please move. We can also have the symptoms of anxiousness, which is fast beating heart, trembling, maybe even perspiration. So that's what's happening in the physical body when we are dealing with states of anxiousness or worry. It's what can happen. We can also have challenges with our digestive system. It can also be hard to think clearly. Now think about the second layer. If you're thinking about the peels of an onion, that's the unseen part of ourselves. That's our pranic body or our energetic body, the more subtle aspect about ourselves. We may not be able to see it, but we can absolutely feel it. We know when our energy is depleted. We can feel different energies in our body with different emotions. And our energy when we're dealing with anxiousness can be unbalanced. It can be very low, or it can feel chaotic and all over the place. And therapeutic yoga deals with the energy body, in a few different ways. With the breath is the most base form of this energetic body, the pranic body. also with mudra and mantra, and also the movements that we use. So I'll be offering skills for that aspect of who we are. Third layer is the conscious mind. So this is the part of the mind that causes us a lot of trouble. This is the part of the mind that is the filter that we put up against everything. It's the part of the mind that tells us what we like and what we don't like, that tells us what's good or bad, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. And for many of us, we're really over-identified with this part of the mind. And the reason that I fell in love with yoga is because the technology of yoga was created thousands of years ago to deal with this tendency of ours to suffer based on the thoughts in our mind. Because the truth is, there's what's happening, and then there's what we make it mean. The way of the mind is, if you insert one thought, the brain is like a computer. It'll find a whole bunch of thoughts that will find evidence to make that first thought true. And that can really cause us a lot of suffering. In anxious states, that part of the mind, our conscious mind, can be full of negative ruminations. So we'll tend to that in our time together. The next layer, according to the yogic map of the human being, is our unconscious mind. So this is where our beliefs lie about ourselves that we may not be privy to, but they do sprout the quality of our thoughts. And this is why we meditate. This is actually why we meditate, even though there's so many other benefits about meditation. It enhances concentration, it eases stress, all that is true. But the reason we meditate is because in meditation, the doorway of the present moment can access what is unconscious and bring it into the conscious so we can deal with it. Or sometimes it moves what is unconscious so we just feel a greater sense of well-being. And then finally, all of these coverings or layers, according to yoga philosophy, surround true essence or true nature, or what I like to think about, this part of us that has never been afraid. Thinking about an inner part of me that is always at peace and that has never been afraid has been very healing and therapeutic for me. And when we practice the skills that I'm going to offer you this afternoon, the idea is as we make our way through these layers, these coverings of who we really are become more translucent, so we have a better sense of who we really are. So much more than anxiety, so much more than our worries, so much more than our bodies. But even though I'm presenting these aspects of who we are in this linear fashion, because it's the way our minds work, just know, and you'll have the experience because this is going to be very experiential, just know that if we offer ourselves a tool for one aspect of who we are, the other aspects are affected. So we can either move from the outside in, working with the physical body in order to access inner peace, or there are some practices that bring us right to the heart. And maybe you've experienced that just with that knowledge of I am so much more than anxiety, just with that new remembrance, okay? So we'll get started. I'm going to take you through a journey through these different layers, and you'll start by lying on your back, and then I'll take you through different skills for these different layers. And everything that I say is just an invitation. There's never any shoulds or have to. I'm offering quite a lot, which I am prone to do. So take what you like. All that I ask is that you come with an open mind and an open heart. And if you feel comfortable, I do suggest that you start lying down for an exploration through the yogic map of the human being. All right? I'm going to stay close just to talk you through this, but do lie down. If you're comfortable seated for a long period of time and you can close your eyes, that's great. But otherwise, get comfortable. Be warm. You might like a pillow underneath the knees if that feels supportive. For a lot of us, as I mentioned, it can be hard to stay still. We feel that if we're anxious, we need to meditate, but then it seems impossible to stay still. It can be for many of us. So before you allow yourself to stay still, if it would be helpful, just allow yourself to shake out your body, shake out your arms and shake out your legs like you could discharge some excess stress and tension that's been built up. No one's looking at you. And then take a deep breath and allow yourself to settle, knowing that you can move if you need to. But see if it feels okay to have your ankles and your knees almost as wide as a yoga mat so that the feet and the knees can just fall away from one another. See if it's okay to snuggle your shoulders away from your ears, arms by your sides with your palms turned up. Good. Now, connecting with the physical body is very helpful in states of worry, negative rumination, or anxiousness, because anxiety takes us into the future, worry takes us into the future, but our physical body is always right here, right now. So connecting with this aspect of who we are can be an anchor to the truth of this moment, that in this moment, right here, right now, all is well and we are safe. To anchor to the physical body, first start to feel your body. We'll start with a sense of touch. So feel the ground beneath you and feel how your body is sinking into the support of the floor and ultimately the earth. Feel the bones of your legs getting heavy with relaxation. Feel the bones of your arms heavy. Back of the head heavy. But it's almost like the bones of your face could get lighter as the muscles of the face relax completely. The jaw is soft. Cheeks relax. All of the muscles around and behind the eyes relax. The eyelids are smooth and the space between the eyebrows is spacious. Feel the space above you now. Air coming towards you. Temperature and texture on skin. Not needing to think or judge, just witnessing the sense of touch as you allow the mind to scan your body, befriending sensation. Much of what we feel in the body in states of anxiousness is our body communicating with us. And in the lives we lead, we can set those communications aside. But now let your body know that you're coming home, you're here, you're listening. As you feel sensations at the periphery of your body and beyond. To continue to anchor to this moment right here, right now, continue to dive into the senses. And even though your eyes might be closed, if it doesn't feel good to have the eyes closed, the gaze could be just very steady. But even if the eyes are closed, notice what you see behind closed lids. Maybe some light, some movement, some shapes. You're just witnessing. You dive into the sense of sound. And for the next moment or two, focus completely on what you can hear further away from where you are. And then closer to you. No need to think or judge here, just observing with curiosity. As if you've never heard sounds quite like that before. Without judgment, you might even notice what you taste and any scent in the air. Observing feedback from the senses as a way to anchor into right here, right now, this doorway into deeper states of relaxation. Now bring your awareness to cool air moving in through your nose and warm air moving out. See if you can feel the abdomen fill and expand as you begin to shape the breath and inhale a little bit more. And then let your exhalations be longer and lingering. Our exhalations linked to our ability to relax, to the relaxation response, to the side of the nervous system that is all about resting and digesting. And as you receive deeper breaths into the abdomen, maybe you feel as if you're breathing more deeply than you have all day, maybe all week, maybe all month so far. Fully allowing exhalations to sink your body even more deeply into the support of the ground. Now feel this breath in the body. Notice if you can feel the inhale in the head, in the chest, in the arms and the hands. Notice if you can feel a movement, an inner energy in the hips and the legs and the feet. Pranic body, the unseen aspect of who we are. Using your imagination, can you feel and see the breath moving up the length of the body from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head, just washing up the length of your body like a wave, and long exhales washing all the way back down. Feel the rhythm of the breath flowing up the length of the body and down the length of the body, bones of the body swaying back and forth in relaxation with this wave. When it comes to the pranic body, the more subtle aspect of who we are, this could seem theoretical for some of you, but there is an energetic architecture of the body according to some paths of yoga. And just like acupuncture, yoga would teach us that there are thousands of energy pathways coursing through this more subtle aspect of who we are, which meet at 7 main bundles of energy up the length of the spine, beginning at the root of the spine, the pelvic floor area. So all I'm inviting, and remember everything I say is just an invitation, is to bring your awareness to the aspect of your body that is your pelvic floor, your legs, and your feet. And maybe part of the energetic body is this chakra system. So as you bring your awareness to the root of the body, the legs and the feet, these physical aspects are governed by an energy center that is related to our thoughts around our sense of safety, survival, and our thoughts and beliefs around fear. Bring your awareness just above the root of the body to the place between the navel and the pubic bone. And just feel this area, sacral area, reproductive organs, and hips. These physical areas thought to be governed by an energy center that is about our emotions and the internal, maybe unconscious beliefs that we hold about creativity, self-expression, and sexuality. Bring your awareness just above the navel now to the solar plexus, the digestive system, inner beliefs and thoughts relating to our personal power, our sense of boundaries and self-esteem, our feelings about how we can manifest in this world are related in this area. How we digest the experiences in our lives, how we physically digest and how we emotionally digest here. Lives here. Bring your awareness to the center of the chest, the spiritual heart, the energetic heart space, and feel across the chest down into the arms and the hands. These physical aspects of you governed by heart energy center, which includes our maybe unconscious beliefs about our worthiness, about loving and being loved. Bring your awareness now to the throat, to the neck area, just feeling there. Whatever you feel is okay. And the theory is that our thoughts and inner beliefs about our right to speak our truth lives here. Travel the awareness up between the eyebrows, the home of intuition, inner teacher, broader perspectives, our ability to hold broader perspectives and maybe broader thoughts here. And then finally, bring your awareness to the crown of your head. The thinking is that This physical area is governed by an energy center related to our thoughts and beliefs about being connected to something greater than we are, whatever that means to you, whether that be love, intention, nature, source, the divine, whatever that means to you. Just part of what's thought to be involved in the energetic part of the body. And your breath is the most base form of that part of the body. And we'll explore some breath techniques that can help us balance this area. Now, as we've been moving through this yogic map of a human being, you might have noticed thoughts arising, the inner dialogue interrupting, and that's absolutely fine. That is what the mind does. Every 5 to 10 breaths, we might be interrupted by a rumination or a judge. There is the level of your conscious mind. As you lie here observing, you might notice the space between thoughts, the space after the exhalation, a moment of stillness and silence. This might be the doorway to unconscious mind, the doorway to meditation, which moves what is unconscious into the conscious, offering us deeper levels of peace, perhaps. And then I invite you to once again bring your awareness to the center of the chest, the home of the energetic heart, the spiritual heart. Use your imagination and visualize gold light right there. Like an orb of warm, nourishing gold light right there, center of the chest. Feel it, see it. And just an invitation, use your imagination to see yourself sitting there peacefully. The part of you that has never been afraid. Begin to deepen your breath as you could soak that sensation in, infusing it into every aspect of your body. An experience of the coverings, the sheaths surrounding who we really are. And now we'll move through them one by one with the intention of building your own toolbox of therapeutic yogic skills to use when you need them. First, stop physical body. Some movement now. Inhale, hug those knees up to your chest, and I'll move back to my mat to move with you. With the knees hugging to the chest, find the breath long and deep, breathing big into the abdomen, and then nice and long, and feel and see the breath move down from crown of the head to the root of the body. This posture, hugging the knees up to the chest, Apanasana, is thought to actually cultivate a downward flow of energy in that pranic body, the more subtle body that can help us be grounded. Now, something to say about grounded and the way that we'll be moving in this workshop. From an Eastern perspective, anxiety is thought to be related to a quality called vata. In Ayurveda, the sister system to therapeutic yoga, Ayurveda believes that everyone and everything contains 3 different energies, vata, pitta, kapha. And vata is related to air, mobility, turbulence. So in states of anxiousness, that's how it can feel in the mind. It can feel chaotic and turbulent. So we want to add ground. The way we'll be moving now is balancing for vata. So now hug that right knee in and lengthen the left leg out onto the yoga mat. You could have the knee bent if that feels better. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, relax the face and shoulders. And then at the beginning of the inhale, switch legs. At the end of the inhale, that's the end of the movement. And at the beginning of the exhale, hug the knee in. So the point is here that you are moving perfectly in time with your longest, slowest, deepest breath.
moving in this way, moving in time with the breath, whether it be yoga, whether it be walking or another movement regime, as long as you are moving and breathing in time, that's very grounding because it helps to anchor the mind. So notice how you are focusing on having the breath be the initiator of the movement of your body. You might even notice how the mind wants to speed up and get along to the next thing. But as best you can, soften that and simply witness how the breath and the body and the mind can unite. All the mind is completely focusing on is moving in time with breath. What we're also doing in the movements that I'm offering you for physical body is we're moving and freeing the joints of our body. So next time you have both knees in, start to open up the knees if that feels okay for you, and make big circles with your knees, hugging them towards one another and then opening them up away from one another. Continue to move in time with your breath as I continue to teach here. So warming and freeing the joints of our body is therapeutic from a therapeutic yoga perspective, because yoga teaches us that quality of vata, that dry air, turbulent, mobile quality, can get stuck in the joints of our body. And so if we move and warm and free up the joints of our body, we can release imbalanced vata to move back home, and we just have a nice, easier flow in the body. But I want to give you an experience of that. So next movement, please bring your feet so they're underneath your knees. Ankles right underneath the knees, feet are parallel, about sitting bone distance apart. If it's okay for you to reach your arms above the head, please do so. So there'll be a couple of movements with breath. You'll get it. As you exhale, tone the belly slightly, start to lift the hips, and at the same time, lower the arms. And then as you inhale, slowly start to lower the hips as you reach the arms above the head. Exhale, tone the pit of the belly, lift the hips and lower the arms. Keep the thighs parallel. You don't have to lift high. And then as you inhale, slowly lower the hips and reach the arms back up. So see if you can slow this way down. Exhale, hips lift, arms lower. And inhale, slowly lower the hips and reach the arms. See if you can match this perfectly with the rhythm and the rate of your own breath. And you can use the physical body once again as an anchor, noticing sensations that are creating at the shoulders, the hips, how you're pressing down into the support of the ground to create these movements. And you always want your movements to feel nice and easy. So you're moving in your pain-free range of motion, please. Long, deep breaths, especially long exhalations. And then the next time the hips are down, bring one hand to the abdomen and one hand to the chest. Drop the knees in towards one another, and then take a moment to feel. After a few moments of moving and breathing in these different joint-freeing movements, can you begin to sense an easier, calmer flow in the body? It'll be different for everyone. Let go of expectations. Just notice what you feel. Ensure that the breath, that you feel the inhale in the abdomen, filling and expanding there. Sometimes if we're breathing first into the chest, that in itself can trigger that fight, flight, or freeze aspect of the nervous system, making us feel anxious. So it's important that we learn to cultivate, to inhale so that the belly expands, so that we're feeling this deep diaphragmatic breath. Now arms away from your body. Keep the knees bent, but the feet are now mat distance apart. And just nice and easy as you exhale, allow the knees to almost windshield wipe in one direction. Inhale back through center, and exhale, allow both knees to descend in the other direction. Again, I invite you to match these movements perfectly in time with your breath. No need to rush. No one to take care of here. No agenda, no strategizing, no shoulds, no have-tos. Just allow the mind to follow the breath in the body. And then the next time the knees are over in one direction, you can rock over into a fetal posture. Take a breath. Scan the connection points between your body and your ground here. Let yourself be held. Ultimately, feel as though you're being held by earth.
And then using the strength of your hands and your arms, bring yourself back up to seated. A few more joint freeing movements from a seated position as we tend to physical body, outer layer of the yogic map of the human being. Good. Start with the arms stretched away from you, and we'll make circles with the wrists, warming and freeing vata from the joints of our body so that it is not so chaotic in the body, creating a chaotic mind, but it smooths out and moves back into its home of the pelvis. And then let's flex and extend at the elbow joints. Nice and easy, pain-free range of motion. Move in time with your breath. Come into your cactus arms now, internal and external. So we're moving into the movements of the shoulder joints. Again, nice and easy. When we're balancing vata, this is an Ayurvedic term, the sister system to yoga, we want everything to feel nice and easy. Bring the hands to the shoulders. Allow the shoulders and the elbows to draw towards one another, rounding the spine if that's okay for your body. And then inhale, stretch these often tight muscles across the chest, which, by the way, when those muscles are tight, that in itself can trigger that nervous aspect of your nervous system. So we do want to make sure that we're freeing and stretching the muscles of the chest. The next time you come back up to neutral, I'll be your mirror here. Right hand to the right, up and over you go. Side stretch to the right. Tone the pit of the belly, beginning of the inhale, beginning of the movement. Side stretch, other side, right arm up and over. Now feel the grounding of your sits bones connected to the earth. Inhale, you'll switch arms, nice and easy. Exhale, tone the pit of the belly, nice and easy side stretch. Moving into some of the movements of the spine. Make sure this feels appropriate for you. Beginning of the inhale, beginning of the movement. Beginning of the exhale, beginning of the movement. And the next time you come back over towards the right, just gently twist towards the right. One hand in front, one hand behind. Inhale, begin to twist in the opposite direction. Exhale, you'll find the twist. Another movement of the spine as we free and warm the joints of the body. Also, twists are helpful to get lymphatic fluid flowing, which at this time when we're supporting our nervous systems, not only by keeping ourselves calm, we're supporting our immune system. So supporting the lymphatic system is also helpful here. And now pause, and I invite you to place your palms face up. This can be an embodiment of receiving. Rather than having to do or try or force anything to be any different than it is, with palms face up, can you connect with this part of you that is comfortable with the unknown? Can you connect with this idea of receiving life as it comes, breath by breath? And as you are receiving, can you receive the inner sensation of your body? Has moving in that way, in time with your breath, created a bit more grounding? A bit more calm and ease? Only you will know, and sometimes it takes practice and time. There's never an easy fix, but for some of you, you might already feel a deepening sense of well-being. Big breath in. Longest exhale, maybe out the mouth. Sometimes if it feels challenging to find a deep breath in, exhaling out the mouth can be helpful. All right, I'm going to invite you to stand up now. Please stand up in a way that is soothing for your nervous system. So maybe that's coming into a tabletop first, maybe 1 foot at a time coming up. You're coming to stand all the way up. It's okay if you can't really see the palm of my head or the top of my head. It's important that we are connecting to the base of our body here. So please look down at the feet. Now remember when I taught you that the feet and the legs and the root of the body is connected to an energy center that is thought to be connected to our sense of safety, security, and well-being. And if we are a little bit deficient in that energy center, we can be prone to anxiety and fear. So I'm here to tell you that it is more therapeutic than you think it is to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet and to feel your feet on the ground. So with your hands to your hips, I invite you to rock back on your heels, flex the toes towards your face, and really spread the toes away from one another. And then see if you can place the toes down on the ground, 1 toe at a time. And then continue just like that, lifting and spreading the toes. Last time. And you might rock forward to the ball mounds of the feet and back to the heels. Strengthening and stretching the feet. Now, have your feet either hip distance apart or about 2 fist distance apart. And check that the second toes are drawing 2 straight lines across your room. Now stand up nice and tall, maybe close the eyes. If it's not feeling comfortable to close your eyes, let your gaze travel across the room somewhere that isn't moving. Soften the knees a little bit as you stand in an anatomical position, palms face open. So we do have receptive hands here again. What we are cultivating is the asana of the mountain pose. And we want to build this pose from the ground up. The way we plant our feet both on and off the mat is helpful for every aspect of the human being, for our physical body, our energy body, for our nervous system, for our mind, for our heart. So as you plant the feet, see if you can feel yourself anchoring into the big toe ball mound, the pinky toe ball mound, each corner of the heel, and then the very center of the heel. It's if you could feel roots sprouting from these points at the soles of the feet and hugging down towards the ground, drawing down into the ground. And then as you inhale, imagine that you could really pull nourishing earth energy up the legs, through pelvic floor, up the central channel, grounding the mind. And then I invite you to visualize that breath moving back down the length of the body towards the soles of the feet and back down into earth. So whether you are on a yoga mat, whether you are standing having conflict with someone or standing having conflict with yourself, feeling both of your feet on the ground, having a sense of plugging down into the earth can generate a sense of well-being and safety. Not only that, when we're standing in a well-aligned mountain pose, and when we're lifting the arches of the feet, and we can imagine that we're drawing energy up the inseam of the legs, lifting pelvic floor, lifting the pit of the belly towards the heart, we're also enhancing that pranic body, our more subtle body. We're enhancing our sensitivity to our central channel. So we're bringing everything back into balance. A lot more powerful than simply just standing up this mountain pose. So a couple of breaths here. And then some movement from here. So we create that firm foundation and then we expand and grow from it. Inhale, reach the arms high. Like you could reach the fingers away from the feet. And then exhale, just lower the arms to the side. Inhale, reach the arms. So again, let your body, mind, and breath unite. Beginning of the exhale, beginning of the movement, lowering the hands down. Beginning of the inhale, beginning of the movement. And then join the palms and bring the hands down through heart center, a mudra, a movement that we make with our hands that connects us to this central channel. And from this place, I'd like to invite a little bit of an internal thought when we're working with that first energy center, with our sense of safety and security. Remember, I taught you that that area physically is governed by our right to be here. So you might inwardly think, I am here. I am here. I am real. I am present. Or I have a right to be here. And we'll take that with us into a bit more Vata balancing movement. So as you inhale, reach the arms high. Move in time with breath. And as you exhale, bend the knees quite a bit and come into a forward fold, allowing the torso to rest on the thighs. As you inhale, lengthen your torso halfway, hips higher than low back, find length, heart to the horizon. And then exhale, bow. Press your feet down and away from one another. Firm up all the muscles of your legs, and then inhale, arms wide and high, reach. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Please feel your feet on the ground, and the invitation is to inwardly think, I have a right to be here. Or if it's working better for you, the thought can be, I am here. Or I am here and I am real. You can match that repetitive thought with your breath, with your movement 2 more times in that half sun salutation. Inhale. Inhale begins the movement, reach. End of the inhale, end of the movement. Beginning of the exhale, beginning of your forward fold. End of the exhale, end of the movement. Beginning of the inhale, halfway rise, breathe in. Exhale, bow. I am here. Press your feet down and away from one another, rooting so deeply that it becomes lighter and more effortless to rise. And hands down through heart center, bringing our awareness to our inner body, our inner essence. And then at the end of the exhale, feel your feet on the ground. 1 more time like that with your slowest, deepest breath. Longest exhale, so it's like you're moving in slow motion. Longest inhale, halfway rise. Take your time, nice long spine, exhale. Press the feet down and away from one another. Remember, you need it to feel nice and easy to be balancing for Vata. And then hands down through heart center. Pause, mountain pose, anatomical position, nice receptive hands so you're feeling it all. Softness in the knees, plug all 4 corners of the feet into the earth, and imagine you could breathe up from the arches of your feet, like your feet are suction cups, drawing earth energy up the arches of the feet, the inseam of the legs, lifting pelvic floor, lifting the pit of the belly to the chest, nice proud chest, crown of the head lengthening away from the feet, breathing up and down the length of the body, nourishment from the earth, washing in, grounding the mind, and maybe grounding the mind, that inward thought of I have a right to be here. Hands to your hips. I couldn't teach a Worrier to Worrier experience without a Worrier pose. So come into what we know to be Worrier 2. Basically, you have the front foot facing the front of your yoga mat, front knee stacked right on top of the ankle, even open up that knee to pinky toe. Back foot, you're anchoring it by the outer blade, and you're anchoring all 4 corners of the foot. So let's take a little extra time to plant our feet. Standing poses are incredibly grounding in yoga. Make sure you keep breathing, rest when you need to. But feel all 4 corners of the back foot engaged, rooting down, plugging in, arch of the foot lifting, back thigh, back glute strong. And then when it comes to that front foot, all 4 corners of the foot are anchored and both feet are like suction cups. Then I invite you to squeeze your legs in towards one another, feeling power and energy drawing up the legs, again lifting pelvic floor, lifting the pit of the belly. You become sensitive to your central channel as you reach the arms away from one another, and we do palms face down. Because as you exhale, I invite you to imagine that both palms and feet are being drawn towards the ground, relaxing the face, relaxing the shoulders. And then we'll move and breathe for that Vata balancing. Beginning of the inhale, beginning of the movement to straighten legs and arms. And then beginning of the exhale, beginning of the movement, I have a right to be here with the breath. End of the exhale, feel your feet plugging into the ground. Feel that sense of stillness. Beginning of the inhale, beginning of the movement, I have a right to be here. Last time, keep squeezing the feet in towards one another. Feel the lift of pelvic floor.
Feel your core, the very center there of your body. And then hands to the hips, and I invite you just to transform this into the other side. So the front foot becomes the back foot becomes the front. You might like those back toes slightly angling forward as you anchor the outer blade. Root all four corners of that foot. Plant your roots. Front knee bends open to pinky toe side of the foot, knee right on top of the ankle. Squeeze feet and legs towards one another, drawing earth energy up the legs, up the central channel, and then reach the arms away from one another, but allow there to be softness of your jaw and your shoulders. So we are holding both power and strength and trying and effort with softness and ease and compassion. Just like in these days, we can hold worry and fear with beauty and compassion and love, duality. Inhale, squeeze everything to midline. We'll move and breathe. And exhale, feel your connection to ground. I have a right to be here. Relax the jaw. Let the toes stay light and spreading rather than gripping. Longest exhales. Feel the stillness at the end of the exhale. Bring the hands back to the hips, rotate both feet so that they are parallel, heel toe the feet back into your mountain pose. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. Sometimes we just need a good stress discharging shake like we see our animals do after times of stress, instead of holding it all in. And then plant those feet, soft knees, and notice how you feel now. Notice energy in the hands, energy in the legs, the way your feet feel on the ground. And just notice if that was working for you, moving in time with the breath, establishing a firm connection with the ground. If that helped, not just the physical body, but that unseen part of yourself. Remember, as we practice a tool for one aspect, for one layer of who we are, we're affecting all of the others. You might already feel a difference in the momentum of the mind, even an emotional difference. So I invite you to come to a seat, again in a mindful way. You might come to a seat through a squat. If you have that in your practice, you might come through a seat through a tabletop, but come to a seat in a way that serves you. I've taken you through the physical body, that outermost layer. And you've noticed how working with the physical body affects the pranic body, that energetic body, the conscious mind, and maybe even has already started to take us home to the heart. But we're working layer by layer. So next we work more specifically with the pranic body. As I've mentioned, the breath is the most base form of this aspect of who we are. So we can make changes and we can balance the pranic body through breath techniques. So I'm going to show you one of them here. I'm also going to show you a couple of mudras. Mudras are movements that we use with our hands, sometimes our face and our whole body. You can think of them as yoga postures for your hands that have a deeper intention for these different layers of who we are. They create different shifts and sensations for the physical body, for the mental and emotional body as well. This could seem theoretical to you. For some of us, we really feel mudras. For some of us, not so much. The first one I'll show you is I'll just have you tuck the thumb into the palm of your hand and gently wrap 4 fingers around the thumb. So you're just making a light fist here, thumb inside the hand, 4 fingers wrap around lightly, and then bring that fist to rest on your lap, whether you're sitting on the ground or you're sitting in a chair. You're at home, so make sure you're comfortable. Nice, well-aligned spine. Do make sure you're comfortable so the spine can be tall. Relax the shoulders. As you exhale long, feel the bones of your body supported by whatever you're sitting on. Start to move the directionality of the breath as you inhale. Breathe from tail through crown, finding length. And then as you exhale, see and feel the breath moving down the length of the body, and there's a pause at the end of the exhalation where you feel the anchors of your body here, the tripod between the sits bones and the tailbone, rooting down. And then just notice the sensation of the hands as you are gently
cupping the thumb with your four fingers. The breath can be soft. And notice if there is any sort of calm sensations moving through your body. Again, let go of expectation. For some, we'll feel something, for some not. But this mudra, I always like to teach this one because we can do it anywhere. It's very simple. And this one is thought to really calm the mind. This one is for grounding. This one is to calm worries. It's very calming for the nervous system. You might feel that, you might not. And then while we enjoy this mudra, I'm going to teach you a mental version of a breath technique that is often taught in yoga practices, but a mental version can be even easier for the mind. So remember, when we're balancing vata, we want to keep everything nice and easy. So I'm going to guide you through a mental version of alternate nostril breathing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to physically close off one of your nostrils. You just imagine that you're breathing in and out of different nostrils. Just be guided by my voice and notice how this works for you. So maybe your eyes closed, maybe a soft, steady gaze somewhere that isn't moving. Take a deep breath in into both nostrils. And then a nice long exhale. And then inhale, imagine you're just inhaling into the left nostril. And then exhale right. Just into the right nostril, inhale. Exhale left. Inhale into the left nostril, just imagining. And exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. And we always want to end with an exhale out the right nostril. Breathe normally. Notice. These are all just inner explorations. You'll take what you need. And then to give you an exploration of a different kind of mudra, I will not be your mirror here. Normally I mirror when I teach, but I also want to do this mudra correctly. So you'll take your right hand. This will be your right hand to you if I were your mirror. But you'll take your right hand, and with the right elbow close to the torso, you'll just gently make a bit of a cupping sensation with the right hand in line with the shoulder. Relax both of your shoulders and your face. Again, if it's better to sit in a chair, do that. And then as you close your eyes or soften your gaze, imagine that you're breathing in through the palm of this hand, down the arm and into the spiritual heart, the energetic heart. And then imagine as you exhale that you're sending the breath down through the right arm and out the right hand. Now there's a bigger visualization here as you breathe into the spiritual heart and then you exhale out of that energetic heart. Imagine that you are sending the qualities of your heart to those that you are not able to physically be with now. Exhaling and offering the qualities of your heart to those who are on the front lines and to those who are physically taking part in this sacred experience together now. And the digital experience can be a sacred experience if all of us have the intention to be right here with each other, letting distractions go. So for a few moments, visualize breathing into the heart through the hand and offering from the heart out the hand. this mudra, as you feel into how the experience is for you, is specifically about overcoming fear and anxiety, lowering blood pressure, and overcoming worry. Just notice what that is for you. Release the mudra. Throughout all of our breath techniques and our mudra, you probably noticed a common thread through this entire experience so far, and that is the mind, the interruption of thought. It's very clear when we start to watch our mind that thoughts are ungenerated by us. And without having information about the way of the mind, or without having skills to manage our mind, we are left with a ruminating mind. And it's been shown that minds allowed to simply ruminate are mostly ruminating about the negative. And what we need to know about the mind and about our thoughts is that simply what we think creates how we feel. And how we feel creates the actions that we take in our world. And the actions that we take in our lives create our entire destiny. So I have learned that it is profoundly important to know what we're thinking and to learn to manage what we're thinking. This is not about creating positive thinking. This is the path of self-study, according to therapeutic yoga. So this is the time in our practice where you'll need to have something to write on and a pen nearby. And we'll just begin with a meditation that allows you to watch the mind. And what I'll have you simply do, because this is the most important skill. When I work with clients, there's so many different cognitive skills that I'll be offering, but the most important skill to learn is to learn how to watch our thoughts instead of identifying with each and every one of them. Just because we have a thought does not make it true, does not mean that we have to follow it or identify with it. Learning to separate ourselves from our thoughts enough so we can observe them rather than jump on them is the first part of any cognitive skill. So I invite you to sit or even lie down if you're starting to feel uncomfortable with sitting, and allow the mind to flow. Allow memory or images or that filter of bad or good, like or dislike. Just allow everything to come. And the practice is when you see an image or a thought or a memory, simply think thought, as if you're pointing it out. And we'll do that for a moment or two together. Just thought. When we start to learn to observe what we are thinking, when we start to learn about the quality of our thoughts, we start to learn a lot about ourselves. We start to learn about some of our internal unconscious beliefs that might be feeding and sprouting these thoughts. When we start to learn to watch our thoughts, we then learn how to question them, to ask them if they are true, if they are serving us. Now, in these days, a lot of our thoughts might be worried or fear-based. And as I mentioned at the beginning of our time together, that would be appropriate in times like this. To speak a little bit about emotions, think of emotions as guideposts. Think of our emotional aspect as our guidance system. And rather than an emotion coming in and completely toppling us off of our center and us completely identifying with that emotion and reacting based on it, what if we were to be able to step away from it, observe it like we're learning to do? We're observing sensations in the body. We feel our emotions in the body. We're observing thoughts that end up sprouting emotions. What if when we were feeling fear, worry, or anxiousness and had thoughts of that flavor, what if we could use that as an opportunity to inquire and to be guided? We know that fear is healthy. Some fear helps to keep us alive, and we are animals based on survival. There is a question in fear, and that question is, what action needs to be taken? When I'm riding my bike through my busy city, I've got healthy fear with me because I'm alert, I'm awake. That's what healthy, balanced fear does. It keeps us alert and awake to take the next right action. And a lot of us are taking action right now in response to our fear and our worry. We're donating, we're helping, we're staying at home, we're stepping into our power, we're taking care of families, we're taking care of our health, we're taking action. But what happens when our fearful thoughts start to become acute and they start to take over our lives? There is inquiries that we can do, but with the time we have today, I want to cut right to the heart of it. What you can ask yourself, rather than what action needs to be taken when it comes to this really unbalanced, maybe more irrational fear, is you can ask yourself, if love had a voice, what would love say? So it's not like you're creating any untrue positive thought instead of the negative one. You're writing that down. What would love say here? And it allows you to use your imagination. It allows you to be creative and open up to thoughts that might not naturally come to you based on your specific lens that you have in your life. If love had a voice, what would love say? So I invite you to use that in the coming days when thoughts come in the mind, a lot of should thoughts maybe about yourself, about the people that we're living with, about loved ones. What would love say right now if love had a voice? Writing that down and journaling that gives us a time for creativity. And when we're in our creativity, when we're using our imaginations, then we are able to create new thoughts. And if thoughts create how we feel, and how we feel creates the actions that we take, then if we created new thoughts that were even more true because they're connected to this true essence of who we are, then wouldn't we feel better and act better? So that's sort of the science around that. And using our imaginations then brings us into more of the higher mind, the wisdom body, that unconscious mind. So to close our experience today, what I have left to share with you is a visualization to help us anchor in to that higher aspect of who we are, our higher thinking self. And then I'm going to walk you through another guided meditation intended to help you cultivate an inner resource of safety. So we'll lie down once again. We'll get as comfortable as you possibly can. I'm going to give you these last two techniques, and then we'll stay together as we rise back up and close together. It's important that we stay together and close the sacred space that we created. So you are worthy of being as comfortable as humanly possible. Get cozy, be warm, snuggle into the nest that you create to have this experience. Again, allow the knees and the feet to fall away from one another. Maybe feet and knees mat distance apart. Snuggle your shoulders away from your ears, arms by your sides, palms face up. Receive a big, deep breath and firm up all the muscles in the body. Make fists with your feet, fists with your hands. Shrug your shoulders up towards your face. Firm up the muscles of your face. And then as you exhale, let it all go. And and feel the back of your body supported by the ground, and really allow yourself to be held. Your breath can be subtle now. And the more you relax, the more you allow your body to sink into the earth. And it's almost like you could feel the earth rise to meet you. Anytime that we embark on a journey of personal growth, of conscious evolution as we have together today, it's some work. And so what I want to offer you is a visualization that can become your own, that is rejuvenating, and that can maybe even help connect you with the inner wise one. So picture yourself lying this comfortably somewhere that feels beautiful and profoundly safe to you. Maybe this is a place in nature where you have already visited, or maybe you create it from the mind's eye. Maybe it's a warm sandy beach. Maybe it's a certain grove of trees, a garden, lakeside. Whatever comes to you, whatever feels right. This is a place that you can build just for you, that you can go to whenever you feel that you need a sense of safety, to feel held. This is you creating your own inner landscape of comfort and ease. Wherever you have built, it is the perfect temperature, has the perfect scent in the air. And all of a sudden, you have this wash of well-being moving through your whole body when you realize that with you is the aspect of you that is your wise one, your inner elder, the wise, peaceful one within, full of wisdom and contentment. Allow yourself to personify this aspect of who you are, really building this person. See them completely and feel entirely safe with them. And this is an opportunity to commune with this aspect of who you are. You might have a specific question, or you might simply say, "What do you want me to know now?" If this visualization has been a comfort to you, and I invite you to imagine that with every inhale, you could breathe in more of that comfort and contentment, filling the body with it. But for some people, bringing to mind a memory or a person with whom we feel profoundly safe with can also be helpful. We are using the way of the mind for good. Either time traveling back to a memory where we felt safe and loved and bringing that to mind to create a feeling. Or bringing somebody into our experience with whom we feel safe, seen, and loved. And again, feel your inhales soaking up this sense of security from the outside in and also from the inside out. Feel your breath as you softly inhale. Expand this feeling to the outer edges of your body. And as you exhale, feel it draw your awareness back into the center of the body, into the heart. The next time you reach the end of your exhalation and you find yourself seated at the heart, picture yourself there again, bathed in warm golden light, sitting at peace in the safe cave of the heart. Merge with yourself here. Merge with the part of you that has never been afraid, the part of you that's always okay. And for a moment or two, rest in that place. Allow your body to remain very still. This is our second opportunity to wake up to a brand new day. So let's do it this time with intention and mindfulness. Walk yourself through the dimensions of who you are. Start with the physical aspect of you and anchor into sensations of your physical body. Feeling sensations at the tips of the toes, the soles of the feet, up the length of the legs, texture on skin, into the abdomen where you can expand the abdomen with breath, feeling aliveness in palms of the hands and sensations at fingertips and streaming beyond. Feel sensations of the nose and the whole face as you begin to breathe more deeply, feeling cool air in and warm air out. See and feel the breath moving down into arms and legs, and bring small movements into your hands, into your feet. Once again, warming and moving and freeing the joints, releasing the dry, mobile, airy quality of vata from the joints. So that vata can settle, we can feel more grounded and at home in this glorious body. Eventually rock over to one side and pause in a fetal posture with the eyes closed and the head resting on the arm. And just ask yourself what you can imagine, what you can think to create a little bit of a boundary around what you have learned today. Before moving right on to the next thing, how can you contain what it is that you have cultivated? How can you stay with the heart? And then as you're ready, press yourself into your hands using the strength of your arms so we can sit together and close this experience together. Receptive palms face up on the thighs or the knees to simply feel. Receive a big, deep breath or two and notice if your breath feels smoother or clearer or brighter. And then if you feel comfortable to do it, we'll bring the hands to heart center, a mudra that connects us to that still, wise, fearless place within, forever at peace, forever abiding. And if we choose to say namaste to one another, either out loud or inwardly, that term acknowledges that place in ourselves and in each other. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much for being here this afternoon, and namaste.